Okay, drum construction. Explanation of how it's been reinforced. It's a 100mm diameter tube, reinforced with a scaffolding tube of about 5mm wall, with baffles set at every 600. These baffles, bulkheads, are welded in. As you can see, these welds here, they're welded in at every 600. Once the entire tube has been set up with the baffles, the chambers are then flooded with an expanding foam. It gives a nice heavy stiffness. Also added to keep the drum nice and straight. We've had to put these stiffening rods in. Work pretty good. The extra length is achieved by the extra add-on piece here, which you can see is machined to slip in here and bolt in. Very heavy, very stiff. No movement in that. That's how this goes together. Just coming around the end of here, the drum is driven by a worm gear. It's the worm gear which has a release set up on it, which I'll explain a little later. All the bearings are fully housed. None of this nonsense. We don't have bearings doing this. These are fully housed bearings with a lateral adjustment down here. You can see the bearing housing goes in here, and we're given a lateral adjustment. This has been put in here in case of sort of a possible coning in the blanket. It may cone again, so we're getting back to it's a prototype, so we might get some coning up. So we've put a bit of adjustment in to pull the blanket on a lateral move, should this happen. Okay, so that'll be the drum section. Okay, now we're going to fit it. Plates, of course, on the ends, so we don't have the blanket rolling into the worm gear. Both sides helps keep it nice and stiff. The way the blanket's going to be attached will be explained a little later on. Okay, that's it for now with the drum. We'll move on to how the worm drives and how the drum all fits. We'll get it running. Okay, thank you. Good. Okay, as the original concept was explained, is that this whole thing was designed to run on a hand drill, any hand drill, provided you got the right socket. It's a big hexagonal type socket. Fun making that, very difficult, but anyway, this is it. With a high resistance nylon. It's got a big nylon block that it goes into, and a big heavy hexagonal drive point for the socket. Okay, the way this works is this socket just goes on here. You push it, when you push it in, down like that, down here, by pushing it in, it engages the worm. There we go. Okay, if we pull it out, we get it back into neutral by disengaging the worm. In, out, just one simple movement. No blocks or no gates to move. Just to show you again. Onto the hexagonal spline, push it down. It's got a nice guide to it. Nobody's going to lose any grip with this, and it's again just the hand drill. Again, I'll just show you that. I'll just take it off. There we go, and now we're in free. So that's pretty simple. Coming right along. So this is quite a rigid drum, but it's still nearly 8 metres long, and although it's packed with reinforcing, it still would want a tendency, or there's a possible tendency, because again it's a prototype. This is what I've been concerned about, is how much bow will I get in the centre of the drum, even with the reinforced drums, because we still get a bit of movement in it. So what we have is down here a landing roller, so the blanket can come down. This is the heaviest point, and can roll on its own weight in the roller. We also, if you look down the front here, because again these are unknown quantities, being a prototype, this is a tendency that it may pull this way, so we've set another roller in the face just to give it so it can roll against itself on the front here. Yeah, just some of the sort of design things that reveal themselves once you start to build it and look and wonder what might go wrong. Okay, so that's it for the roller for the moment. Okay, we'll move on to the frame a little later. All right.
Thank you, Dan.
So I guess that ought to sort of sort out whether we've got enough strength to pull the blanket in. I'll pick that handle up, I'm sure I can pull the pool blanket in, which was always a concern, is how much power do we have. I think that's going to be sufficient. Okay, another thing I want to point out is instead of using cord on this, we've found with rolling cord it tends to coil or scroll up, which changes the tension on the blanket, and the way we've come around that is, especially because the blanket or the pool is going to be 4 meters from this, so we've found with strapping doesn't coil up. If it's dead straight, it stays straight, it rolls nice and even on the drum. These I intend to be fitted on the drum by way of Velcro, which makes it easy to adjust. And there'll be eyelets in here for the blanket to be attached to the drum. Okay, we've chosen a nice bright yellow because you're going to have lines laying out 4 meters. At least try and reduce get a bit of safety in it so people don't go tripping over it. But that's where we're going with that. Okay. Okay, just to give you a bit of an idea what the panelling looks like. Of course, you can see we haven't finished the panelling, but it's it's where we're up to. It's not far off finish. It's pretty durable stuff. Certainly does the job. Hooked in with our aluminium hooks, no screws, and of course some bonding as well. The seat's made to lift, which just keep it there. See? The hinging for this seating, this is what's made for that. Just to give you an idea of the material we used, it's a square hollow tube, 5mm aluminium wall, much thicker than what we originally proposed. You really need a lot more strength, I felt anyway. You're going to have a whole lot of school kids sitting on this, and we don't want the gate, or the feed gate, to squash down. Although we'll have some reinforcing plugs which go in when the blankets is retracted. This is the sort of hinges that we use. Nice big heavy hinges which you can see down in here. So she hinges up, very heavy duty. So it's going to have to take a lot of wear when you've got the school kids jumping all over it. Certainly didn't buy these at Bunnings, man. Made to really last, and they're handmade. Okay, let's give you a demo of how she lifts up. All right. Okay, so you can see plenty of lift. No problem with that. So, which I couldn't agree more. You really do need the seats to lift up, because you've got to be able to put the blankets on and get to that drum. So that's all taken care of. Certainly be able to do that. Okay. Yeah, the cladding will also be going on along the front. As you can see at the moment, we've just got spacer blocks in, just because we're still doing in manufacture. But all these blocks come out. This is totally reinforced, and it's made, which was a part of the design issue that we had in it. We've got to have a great big open gate, just on 8 meters long. which can take a fair bit of pressure on top or weight on top. So that's why the extra heavy tube was chosen. Okay, but yeah, these cleats are all ready to hook on the rest of the panelling, and what you see up here will be also covering down here as well. Another thing we have in here, as you can see, well, the way we've got this set up in the drive, this is a very unlevel driveway. We have seated down underneath a situation where you've got adjustable bolts with threaded sockets up in the bottom of the framing, so the frame doesn't sit directly on the floor. We're sitting on actually stainless steel cap head bolts, quite heavy duty ones, with a bit of nylon cap heads or capping on as well. So can really sit on uneven ground. Not that it's going to be that uneven at the aquatic centre. Yeah, so all those things have been taken care of. Yeah, as you can see, not too far from completion. Anyway, let's see how she goes. Thank you. Yeah.